Vicky has asked about wearing navy with navy, and she says often when she tries to pair navy together, there's so many different versions of navy that when you do it together, it doesn't look quite right. It's the same when you try and do black. Have you ever noticed that? Because the black can be slightly, it's actually
there's brown, black,
yeah, and charcoal, like, and if you've washed one more than the other, that type of thing. It's the same with whites as well. It can often do that. So with a lot of core colors, this can be the case, that when you're trying to create that column of color, how do you wear it all together? So what I often find is, unless, especially in suiting, unless you buy it as a suit, it often won't quite work. The only way that we think it works successfully is when you are combining different textures or fabrics. So that's what we've wanted to show here. Like if you think about putting a deep ink denim with more of a like linen blazer or something like that, it doesn't matter so much if the navies are different, because it's obvious that they're not supposed to be together, that they're separates, because the texture is different. Likewise, if you're putting a beautiful silk top with, you know, maybe a wool pant in the navy, it's very much that type of thing as well. So the way to do a column of color when you haven't bought matching pieces is to mix up the texture. And I find this for myself with wearing, like if I do go for all black, which is very rare now, but if I do, it tends to be, and I haven't bought them together, it tends to be that I mix up the texture to make it work. So that's my top tip around that.
It's the same with any monochromatic dressing fee. Whites, and again I go back to that Bunnings paint wall, how many different whites there are. So the texture is a really good secret for making that work, and we've tried that. We've seen that in fitting rooms fee, where you've got a perfect jacket with that suit and a perfect pair of pants with that suit, and they just can't go together because it looks like you've bought a mismatched suit. But if you've got a lovely crepe pant with, say, that beautiful linen marks blazer, totally works. And I just want to say too, because we're talking about colour and adding texture, I want to reassure people saying, oh, well, that's all right to change up the texture, but what if you can't wear linen or something like that if you're a cool clear? Remembering that there are some linens, particularly at the moment, Witchery are doing a beautiful bright magenta linen. They're doing a gorgeous, gorgeous sort of indigo blue linen. It is still pure colour and tight weave. There's no flex through it. There's no marbling. There's no addition of other colours in the stitching. So you can still, as a cool clear, I still wear linen as long as it's pure close weave linen.
I mean, I've got my green linen here, and like that's very clear.
It's very clear.
When the pigment and the intensity is there, you can cheat and do the texture.
So don't be afraid of texture, all our clearies out there, as long as it's pure colour.
Oh, cool light, you can totally do linen.
Yes, totally.
It would be a style personality thing if you don't like it. And Vicky's also a cool muted, so texture for her, even if it is making something more muted, is perfect. And sorry, Christy, just following on from that, like as a cool clear, when we say texture as well, like, you know, it's, you know, silk or those satin look blouses and things like that, that's still texture because it's a different fabric.
Even raw silk, that's textured, but there's still a sheen to it. So it's totally fine.